Michelle Young will have her very own Bachelorette season following Katie Thurston's, and we have everything you need to know about her. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We are already counting down the days to Michelle's season of The Bachelorette. So in the meantime, to hold us over, we did a deep dive into everything we need to know about Michelle. Before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell because we will be keeping you updated as we get closer and closer to her season. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Gabby Ganta. Gabby, I feel like I already know the answer to this, but how excited are you for Michelle's season?
So excited. As soon as they announced it, she was certainly one of the people that I was hoping would be our Bachelorette. Of course, we have two of them to look forward to, and Michelle's is coming after Katie, so we have to wait a little bit longer. But I can't wait. I'm really excited.
Same. I think she's going to be absolutely incredible in the role. Obviously, we got to know Michelle during that season of The Bachelorette. And, I think it's safe to say a lot of hearts broke for her during that finale episode. But all of that being said, we don't know too much about her, pre-Bachelor, what her life was like just totally off camera. So let's just, take it back to basics, cover all our bases. She is 27 years old and lives in Minneapolis. She describes herself as the catchphrase queen. And listen, I just have to say, I don't think I heard her throwing out a lot of catchphrases on Matt's season. So that just goes to show, she came late. There was a lot of stuff they had to crowd into those episodes. Sometimes we think they crowded in too much drama. And I just don't feel like we fully got to understand and see all sides of her personality.
We really didn't. I mean, since the first episode or the first few episodes before Michelle was even there, we were starting to say, wait, there's a lot of drama going on. Are connections even being made? And then, of course, Michelle came late and she got started with Matt off on the right foot. They dove right into a one-on-one and their connection was growing ever since then. But yeah, I think it was only in the behind the scenes moments or the bloopers where we actually got to see these girls' personalities. So I'm so glad we're doing this video so we can get to know Michelle a little bit more before her season.
Yeah, absolutely. What's interesting is usually to get to know the contestants, it's time for that deep dive on their social media feed. And Michelle just barely has any social media. It looks like she joined Instagram in April of 2020. Her first post reads, "A little late to the Instagram party, but I made it." As of right now, April 2021, she has less than 20 posts on her page total, and she does have 420,000 followers. So I point this out because lately the biggest conversation, in Bachelor Nation is not only are they here for the right reasons, it's very specifically, are they here for the right reasons or are they here to become an influencer, right? That is you go on the show, you come out an influencer. That's sort of just how it works. But Michelle has 420,000 followers and is making no plays to become an influencer at this point, right? So it feels like she really is that elusive, just in it for love, just in it to give the process a shot type of person, which is so refreshing.
It does seem like that. I did not get influencer hungry vibes from Michelle at all during Matt's season because she is just so down to earth, really made a connection with him, totally poured her heart out to him. Even in the moment when she gave him those customized jerseys as a gift, you could tell that came from the heart. She is such a giving and thoughtful person like that. So I don't think at all it has to do with Instagram, especially since she just joined this last year. It's definitely not on top of the mind for her. And she could certainly move into being an influencer or at least use her platform for good in the future. But right now, I'm sure she's just really trying to find love on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. I am totally with you. Now, again, if you watch Matt's season, we did all learn that Michelle is a teacher. During her hometown dates, if you remember, she adorably introduced Matt to some of her students. Being a teacher, her bond with her students is clearly such a huge part of her life. She graduated from Bradley University in 2015 with a degree in elementary education. According to her official ABC bio, a major focus in her career is helping guide her students to become the next generation of community leaders. So she is not just trying to, teach them multiplication. She wants to really help set these kids up for a wonderful path in life. And, as we said, she takes it seriously. There are rumors that Michelle's season is filming in the summer, literally because she wouldn't do it if it had to, lead to her taking more time away from her students. So, being a teacher, wanting to make an impact in kids' lives is obviously something Michelle and Matt bonded over quickly. It really helped, foster their connection, which kind of makes me think, obviously, Michelle and Matt didn't end up together. We wouldn't be here having this conversation. But somebody like Matt with similar attributes, similar passions, could that be a good person for Michelle in the end? I mean, she was head over heels. Let's face it. I think she would have said yes if he got down on one knee. So are we looking for Matt 2.0 for Michelle?
Oh my gosh, the wound is still open for me in the fact that Matt did not pick Michelle, so this is hurting all over again. But I do think that that quality of Matt, the fact that he loves kids and worked with them and appreciates that part of her life as well, that was such a key factor in them growing and almost making it to the end. So I definitely think Matt 2.0, but also, lots of other probably better qualities in this new guy and other things that I'm sure would check more of Michelle's boxes is down the line for her. But yeah, you're right. I think her kids are obviously very important to her. It's not an aspect of her life that's going to be leaving anytime soon. She's going to remain a teacher and building up these students. So I think whoever she's looking for needs to have similar qualities, loves working with kids, also wants kids of their own, and all of that. So I think that's definitely something she's going to be looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally am with you. One of the other things that we sort of were exposed to through Matt's season, but not as much, I think, as it is a part of her life, is the fact that Michelle is super, super athletic. In college, I think I had an idea that she played basketball, but I didn't really know the details. She was not just like a person on the team; she was literally the star of her school's D1 basketball team. So that is no joke. By her senior year, the 5'9" point guard, by the way, was the team's top scorer and also had the year's most steals per her sports bio back in the day. With a total of 1,062 points scored throughout her college career. She became the 13th highest scorer throughout Bradley athletic history, which is pretty impressive considering it follows up her high school career, where she also set the all-time season scoring record her senior year there as well. So I kind of think back to that post-credits scene, where she drops and did some push-ups before leading the toast. Michelle is definitely someone who fitness, being active is a huge part of her life. I feel like this lends itself to a lot of fun, creative, outdoorsy dates on her season. She's someone who's going to get in there. We love a good obstacle course moment. We saw all sorts of crazy relay races and things during Matt's season. I feel more of this is coming.
Me too. Now I'm wishing they didn't do that wall climbing date and we would have had a basketball one-on-one with her and Matt. I would have loved to see that. But hopefully we can get a little bit more of that on her season because she is so athletic, as you were detailing. I think she's going to be really putting these guys through the ringer. Of course, the producers love to get the guys in these Bachelorette seasons out there and fighting each other or throwing it down in a really tough, wrestling or sports date. So I feel like they're going to definitely do that this season. And I feel like Michelle's going to be so on board because when she fights a man, he's going to have to be able to keep up with her, right? She is strong. She is athletic and she is loving of sports and just being so passionate about active and fitness and everything that you were detailing. So I think whoever she ends up with is definitely going to have to be on her level.
Totally. And I'm just thinking they love to wrestling. I mean, hello, what a good one. They've been throwing that as all the time lately, right? I mean, I just picture usually whoever the lead is, they're not a wrestler themselves, right? But if we get these guys in a super competitive basketball match, I mean, she actually is going to be able to look and see who's faking it, who's got some talent, who can keep up. So really hoping producers capitalize on those possibilities. We have learned some of Michelle's hobbies, been able to pick up on some of the things she likes. She likes to go hiking. She likes wine tasting. She said catching up with friends, which of course, I mean, we all do. She does love checking out new food trucks and ice cream parlors around Minneapolis, which I think is so sweet. She's a little bit of a foodie. From her Instagram, it seems like she has a huge sweet tooth. Like I said, not a lot of posts on Instagram. Of the small number of posts we have, a few of them definitely show off that sweet tooth. She posted a photo with the caption, anyone else try to convince their parents that they had two stomachs when they were younger, one for regular food and one for dessert? Can't say that I did, but I thought this was hilarious. She also shared another post saying, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy hot cocoa with extra marshmallows, and that's basically the same thing. So total foodie, total sweet tooth here. I mean, I just feel like this kind of reminds me how relatable Michelle is. Like, I read these posts, they
Mhm.
make me laugh. I totally feel like I can identify with this. And I think it just kind of is one of those reasons she's going to be such a charming, easy to connect with Bachelorette.
Exactly. She had me at ice cream. I'm such an ice cream girl, so I'm making room for ice cream after every meal for sure. Yeah, I totally agree that she's super relatable. I mean, these Instagram captions are adorable, and it's just going to get even better once we see her on our screens more. And I hope she gets to plan some of the dates because I think it'll be really great for her personality, and so we can get to know her a little bit more and letting the guys know exactly what she loves. She loves desserts and sweets, and she loves cuddling up with her hot cocoa and all of that. So I'm really excited for how it's going to translate on her season.
Oh, absolutely. I am totally with you. Another one of those things, as someone a dog person, a cat person, we now can confirm Michelle is a dog person. She shared an adorable photo shoot
Yes.
she did with her dog, Chief. The caption is end result versus what actually took place during this photo shoot with Chief. Chief is so adorable. Oh my God,
So
those pictures
cute.
had me dying. Claire, Miss Bachelorette Claire Crawley had her dogs with her on set. That was like a non-negotiable here. So do we think maybe Chief will make an appearance on Michelle's season?
Oh, of course. I mean, dogs make great TV. They lighten the mood. It's always a icebreaker as well. I'm sure a lot of the guys are going to be dog people as well. So I'm sure maybe that'll be the conversation they have even before they start talking about kids. They're like, okay, but what kind of dog do you have? Or what kind of dogs do you want in our life? So I'm certainly a dog person along with her. And I hope Chief makes an appearance.
Yeah, I am totally with you. I mean, listen, if it's kind of a good screening process, right? If your dog is not into your man, then that's probably not a good sign. So I hope Chief is there, able to help her on her journey. But let's get into, her journey a little bit more of the serious subjects. Like, what do we know about what Michelle is looking for in a partner? She spelled it all out in her bio for Matt's season. And I think it's worth, looking back on this because now she's going to have her own season, assuming she's looking for the same things, right? In her bio, it said, admittedly, Michelle is an overworker and says she's ready to find love and a man with whom she can start a family. This, by the way, made me think of while she was still a contestant on Matt's season, they did talk about, kids and what their hopes and dreams were in that department. And she told him she wants exactly 3 kids one day. So she's not messing around, really passionate about starting a family. It also says, quote, as a partner, she describes herself as loyal, compassionate, and supportive and shows love through acts of service. So I totally see that for her. I think that love
Mhm.
language makes perfect sense based on what we saw of Michelle. It also says her dream man is confident, not cocky, and will look at her as his equal in all things. Michelle has big dreams for her future and wants a man by her side that is supportive and driven to make the world a better place. She is looking for the Superman to her Superwoman. So cute.
Mm.
I love that she thinks of herself as Superwoman because, I mean, hello, she totally is. They just better cast her some mature guys, right? I read all of that and I'm like, it's not a crazy ask, but it is a tall order, all things considered in Bachelorland. We need some guys who can be on her level, ready for a real relationship, and, in it for, as we always say, the right reasons, because she deserves that.
She really does. I don't think she's going to put up with any drama. Of course, there's going to be some issues between guys because they can just get like that. Clearly, it got like that with the girls on her season. So, of course, that comes with drama and different guys competing for the same woman. But hopefully, she will be able to set a certain standard at the start of it, which I think she will, in saying, these are the things I'm looking for, and I'm being very serious about this. So if any of you are not, which, I feel like a lot of the leads try to do this, but maybe not enforce it, or it just kind of slips through the cracks, so they don't always know what's going on in the house. So then that's where the drama picks up. But I really feel like Michelle is going to have a great handle on this. And I do feel like they're going to get her mature guys. If anybody, like, I think that Katie deserves that as well. But if anyone's going to demand that these guys are up to her level and up to her par, it's going to be Michelle.
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally with you. Michelle is going to be following in Rachel Lindsay and Tayshia Adams's footsteps as the third Black Bachelorette. And, this is another one of those more serious conversations. We did see her briefly address the Rachael Kirkconnell controversy on After the Final Rose. And she kind of talked about how it made her feel. I mean, she's a part of the franchise. She knew Rachael through the series. At the time, she said, quote, as more and more information started to come out, I started to feel hurt by what I was seeing. That was a prime example of not understanding the history behind it, not being educated enough on what that actually meant. I feel like Rachael has a good heart, but I think there's a lot of learning and it comes off very inconsiderate. We also know that Emmanuel Acho brought Rachael out so they could have a conversation and, reconcile their friendship. It didn't make the final edit, but he detailed a description of their chat on his Instagram. Let's just take a quick look at, how that conversation went down through Emmanuel's video.
Michelle walks out, they sit down on the couch together, and after Michelle pours her heart out and Rachael pours her heart out, the two shared an embrace, and I simply sat there and witnessed it and thought, if we could see this collectively as a society, we could all grow. It was a beautiful depiction that I got to witness, and for the sake of time, you all did not get to witness.
So literally, I always get goosebumps when I listen to him explaining that, because I think it would have been a moment so many of us would have loved to have seen. But I feel like, this is an ongoing conversation. Fans are demanding progress, demanding change. I think there's a lot riding, on Michelle's season and Katie's season 2. There are two strong women who have made it very clear that, they're willing to continue to be a part of the franchise, but they want to be a part of the progress as well. And I just think that these are two seasons that need to kind of serve as a reset, right? And I know Katie can do it. I know Michelle can do it. They're really great women to be leading this charge. The franchise has just got to meet them there, right? We have no room for error.
Exactly. It's going to be tough for the producers to meet them there, as you were saying, because I think Michelle and Katie are going to try to be setting that standard for new future bachelorettes and future bachelors to come in and have a season that is progressive and inclusive and just representative of great actual love stories and not just insane drama happening all the time. So it's going to be a bit of a balance to figure that out. But if anyone's going to do it, I think they definitely picked the right women to try and do that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Katie's season comes out. Hers is a little bit more of the guinea pig season because it's the first one after Matt's season, the Bachelorette, and they're going to have to figure a lot of things out. So maybe by the time we even get to Michelle's season, more stuff's figured out and it's a little more tight knit. But I'm hoping that both are just really starting on their way to getting what the fans want to see, what the contestants want to experience, and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you. I feel like, I want to go into this glass house full. I'm, hoping for the best. I really, really think that these two women are definitely right for these roles. I'm excited that they've, given us both of them, broke from tradition here to really try to, I think, make strides in the right direction. Which leads me to this next point, which just makes me so happy. And that is Michelle and Katie actually have a fairly strong bond. They're not, a duo that we saw hanging out 24/7 on Matt's season, but it seems like they've really kind of become closer through these crazy journeys they're about to embark on. Leading up to the Bachelorette announcement, Katie shared a picture of Michelle on her Instagram story and just, simply wrote Michelle Young appreciation post. Definitely fed into the frenzy as there were all these rumors, who was it going to be? Who were we going to get to? And then Michelle actually talked about being approached to be the Bachelorette and thinking that she and Katie would be sharing a season. She talked about it on their Good Morning America appearance, saying,
my first response was, wait a second, we're dating the same men and there's two of us? And I was like, I have a lot of questions.
But once I found out it was 2 different seasons, I was here for it. I'm excited that I get to have somebody to bond over with this and share notes as we go. They are so incredible. They're both very mature, right? They're both very, strong. I don't think either of them are going to take any BS, but they are still at the end of the day 2 totally different women. And I think we're going to
Mhm.
see 2 totally different seasons. I mean, what do you think? I feel like their journeys are going to be hopefully both very positive, but very different.
I also think they're going to be very different. I'm so glad that they've started to create this bond. Like you said, they weren't like best friends in the house, but I think Katie was friends with anybody who wasn't starting all the drama, and Michelle was certainly one who was unproblematic in the house. So makes sense that they were easily able to, start a friendship and get along. I'm obviously so glad they have their own season so we can get to know them very well. I think they're definitely different people emotionally, because I feel like Katie is someone who isn't afraid to say what's on her mind and let all of her emotions hang out there. Whereas Michelle, it seemed like she is very tough on the outside. And I remember in the last episode when Matt was breaking up with her and sending her home, she basically said, and she talked about this more on After the Final Rose, but she was saying, I was holding it together, but then after you left, I was a complete mess, right? And then I wanted to talk to you again, and a lot of other things went down. But it seemed like Michelle really tries to hide her feelings and be that strong woman, whereas Katie is a little bit more of just laying everything out there. So I think that is going to be a key reason why their seasons are a little bit different. But I think in the end, it's all going to get them to the goal, which is trying to find their husband.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that leads me to my final question. I mean, the goal here is not only to, find love, find someone you connect with, but to literally find your fiance, your future husband, to walk away engaged. So we saw Michelle go through it on Matt's season. She seemed ready and right there at the end. I think she would have accepted his proposal. So the question is, now that she's getting her own season, do we see her walking away from it engaged, going into it with the lens of I'm finding my husband? Or do we think she'll take, more of a Matt James route where he's looking to find his person but doesn't want to commit on national TV? How do you see her journey ending? Obviously, we're way in the future here. I know this is like a prediction way, way, way out there, but what does your gut tell you?
My gut is certainly telling me that she is on the route to get engaged. I feel like at the start of Matt's season, he was also on the route to get engaged, and then things just happened so quickly, and people's minds change or his feelings change. So that could certainly also change for Michelle and Katie. I think that is their intention. But the only thing that I would think might hold them back is the fact that they just came off of Matt's season, which was pretty, not traumatizing, but emotionally draining. So the fact that they're kind of throwing them in immediately to have their own season, to start finding a person, and they're the star of the show, right? They have a lot even more to deal with than just being a contestant. So I think if it doesn't work out for either of them, especially Michelle, it's because all of this just happened way too quickly and maybe they need a break. What do you think?
I'm kind of with you. I think that it's really going to come down to how much are you moved on? Have you had enough time to move on, heal, and be ready, to find that
Mhm.
person again, dive all in, head over heels, confidence that this is your person. I'm
Mhm.
certainly hopeful. I'm with you. I think she's going into this in the right headspace, on the right track. So I'm certainly hopeful that she walks away from this, finding true love with her person, all of the, mushy gushy Bachelor things that we're all rooting for. But of course, you guys, only time will tell. Obviously, you guys, we are a ways away from Michelle's season, but don't worry, we are going to be keeping our eyes peeled. We will keep you updated as we get any little exciting announcements. We, of course, want to know how you guys are feeling about Michelle's season. Are you excited? Do you think she's going to make a great Bachelorette? Let us know down in the comments. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so we can keep you updated on all things Bachelor Nation. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the lovely Gabby Ganta. If you want to come say hi, our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.